Now, with as much as we've explored in this course, it is only the start. What we've covered in the past few classes gets you ready to welcome chickens into your life and to care for their needs, but there is much, much more to learn. What if you want to breed your own chickens? What if you want to butcher broilers to fill your freezer or to work in conservation for those rare historical endangered breeds? What if you want to utilize chickens in a rotational grazing system alongside sheep or cows or crops? Or what if you want to exhibit rare and beautiful chickens? How did every breed come about and where are they from? What hybrids are currently being developed to offer unique egg colors or sex-linked chicks or increased productivity? What if you want to get into selling eggs and meat at your local farmer's market? If these sorts of questions are starting to cross your mind, it's time to follow them. So in order to help you along the way, I've got some information compiled for you. First, I'll give you a selection of places to continue your education. From notable pioneers and innovators in modern chicken keeping to old resources full of experienced wisdom, there's interesting rabbit trails and ideas to follow and build from. I will also give you a set of references that's meant to function as a companion to every class you've taken in this course. If I mentioned a link, a website, book, or study, I've provided resources to back up my claims and confirm my statements. I know I've got my own specific biases, and you don't have to take my word for anything. Check out the resources and come up with your own personal conclusions to stand by. And I do hope you take the time to click through it. I've loaded it up with more information for those interested. So that said, let's get into some interesting resources to check out. The first place I'll recommend you learn is not a place at all, it's a person, and you'll have to find this person for yourself. If you, like me, weren't raised with livestock, you may have no background knowledge to fall back on when it comes to finding your way. Learning directly from an experienced chicken keeper, even if you don't agree with all their methods, is the absolute best way to get your feet wet. You may find this resource in a neighbor, in the farm where you pick up your first birds, or even in the homesteading community. Getting to visit a functioning farm in person will give you more information than the best written book ever really could. Another source of information is the Backyard Chickens forum online. This website has been around for long enough that someone out there has probably already asked the question that you've got and had a decent conversation around some solutions. Just make sure that you use some discernment while reading through it. Like any forum, you'll find answers from users that are very experienced and knowledgeable, but you'll also find well-intentioned answers that are unfortunately completely wrong, or just not a good solution for your personal situation. Just make sure to do additional research before you try out a suggestion on your own flock. Of course, another place you can look for conversation and answers is the homesteading website and homesteading community. The resources section of this course will include every chicken-based article in homesteading's extensive repertoire, and the community itself is full of people like you who are trying to learn how to care for their birds as well as possible. Again, even if you don't agree with someone's conclusion or advice, it can still help propel you along the journey to finding your personal methods for managing your flock. The next place you can continue your education is in books. The resource for many of us who, again, had no livestock experience or family tradition to steep us in basic understanding of livestock and chickens in specific. All the books I've referenced in the course of the class, again, are listed in the notes for each class, but here's a few that I'm going to re-emphasize. Books like these will offer you conventional wisdom and instruction. They're a great starting point for someone looking to have the widely accepted and reliable answer for an inquiry. Keep in mind, however, if you're looking for an unconventional, innovative, or creative way to work with your birds, you're going to have to use books just as a launching point. There is much more to know than what has been published, but much of it is going to have to be learned through a direct experience and experimentation in your specific environment. In my own reading, I've found that books written solely on raising chickens are aimed at the beginner and the beginner alone. The longer I've raised birds, the more I've had to search for information from less single-focused sources, I should say. Though it's a harder search, the results have offered fascinating bits of self-sufficient information that I really couldn't find in the more mainstream sources. But that said, Story's Guide to Raising Chickens is probably the go-to reference for many beginners. Gail Damerow is a name that you'll see in lots of places, both in print and online, with plenty of conventional instructions and recommendations that have been used by decades of homesteaders and backyard coop keepers. The Herbal Handbook for Farm and Stable is an old yet refreshingly natural take on chicken health by renowned herbalist Juliette de Brockley-Levy. You won't get wowed by color photos or handy charts, but you will find all-natural remedies to treat poultry that just aren't discussed anywhere else. I use this book all the time. Restoration Agriculture by Mark Shepard isn't a book about raising chickens specifically, but it is an exciting exploration in how chickens factor into a land-revitalizing permaculture system. Homesteading by Jean Lodgson is also a book not just about raising chickens, but it is one of the few resources I've read that includes advice and tips on how to grow your own feed for your own livestock. It's a worthy read for its down-to-earth, experience-based wisdom and knowledge. And finally, the absolute best resource for continuing your chicken education is your own flock. Nothing has taught me more about raising chickens than raising chickens. There are some nuances that just can't be communicated that well in text or in video. And especially if you have a small flock, you will soon know that each bird is an individual that you will be the only one to truly know and understand. Your specific weather conditions, your specific local predators will shape how you build your coop and defend it. The specific breeds that you buy and the specific hopes that you have for them are also unique to your own backyard or homestead. So I guess that's my final exhortation, to just give all of this a try. Boldly, fearlessly go forth and start your poultry adventure. Get the supplies you need, put the infrastructure in place, and take another step towards land fertility, self-sufficiency, safe, healthy food, and the enjoyment of sharing life with these wonderful animals. I hope that this course has been a helpful guide along the way, giving you plenty of material to think on, learn from, and continue to research.